Welcome. Welcome, everybody, to Friday's Inspiration. So great to have so many people here today. Today, I am back in Sonoma, California after doing some extensive traveling, and it's great to be back. And today, we are going to be talking about some foundational things in some respect, but they are important things to know. So let me just get back to my notes. There we go. So we're going to be talking about breaking through into this new paradigm of consciousness. And there are some things that are going to be helping us on this path. The more conscious and aware we are of what's going on, the more accelerated our expansion can be. So let us know where you're calling in from. I always love to hear Utah. Great to have you, Joellen, in Canada. June, thanks. And we have Roma, who's helping are supporting us today from Lithuania. She's back visiting her family, so that's awesome. And we have Canada in the house. Thank you. And for those of you who love coming here every week, be sure to share this with your friends, your families, anybody that you think would benefit from the upgrades that we receive here. We always do a beautiful up leveling of our energies and frequencies with a MediClearing. And today we're going to be doing the same thing. So, welcome Denmark and Connecticut as well. So, this thing keeps going off. So, there's been some new developments that have shown up energetically that are going to help us in our expansion. So, about a month ago, there was this massive wave of energy that cleared a lot of things on the planet, really up leveled us. So, this wave of energy passing over the planet, and you may have noticed, uh, could have been a lot of chaos. It could have been feeling really tired. It could have been headaches. Could have been a lot of things, confusion. So, one of the things that happened was that in our expansion, we now have access to more of the creative rings above our head. So, what are creative rings? We're going to go and do a little foundational work, especially for people who are new. So the creative rings are rings that are stacked above our head. They kind of look like gold wedding bands, about so big, and they're stacked above our head, hovering with space in between each of the rings. And so in the past, I've talked about how these rings hold all of our dreams, our desires, our intentions, all of our goals. And at the same time, a more updated version of that is that it really holds infinite, unlimited possibilities. So I'm going to be talking a little bit more about how our intentions limit us. But when we focus on these rings and we place our intentions that have unlimited possibilities, open ended, we are going to be able to create our world. This is the energy as pure source comes down through these creative rings. It recalibrates these rings, the things that we desire, the things that we would like to see in our life, the things, places we'd like to go, things we'd like to do, people we'd like to connect with. All of these ideas, as pure sources coming down through these rings, it recalibrates them so that how these get created and manifested is in our highest and best interest. So, a lot of times we have intentions or goals or things, and then we end up sacrificing ourselves along the way. Like we can't have everything because we have limited parameters around things. And we also have this sacrifice energy. So, this is one of the things we're going to be clearing today. We're going to be measuring and clearing our sacrifice energy. And yeah, so these rings, now that we have, well, about a month ago, these broke through to infinity. So we were getting up. Let me just back up. The least amount of rings that someone has, this is what I was taught when I was first learning about this energy work, is that you would have 3 rings. I was taught we only had 3 rings, but then I had students who were discovering more rings, and I checked and I thought, wow, that's true. We do have more than 3 rings. And it expanded from 10 on up, kept going, going, going. It got all the way up to 100 rings, and then it broke through to infinity. So now we have access to infinite possibilities. So there's an upside and downside to these rings. Yes, they expand everything. They make all of our creations bigger. We'll create faster, more intensely, the more rings we have. And the more work that we do, the more rings we're given access to. But the downside, if there's a downside, is that the rings don't care what it amplifies. So it's going to amplify everything in our energy field. If we're holding a lot of fear, anger, resentment, it's going to make it really big. We're going to be really pissed off. We're going to be really resentful and so angry about things if we have a lot of rings. Now, if you don't know how many rings you have and you'd like to know, this is one of the 50 things that I measure in the vibrational altitude report. And so this report measures all kinds of things: martyr, victim, shame, people courting to you, how many fear entities you have, do you have spells and curses, on and on and on, your money vibration, how big is your wealth container. So I measure all of these things without ever talking to you, knowing anything about you, because I'm tapping into the quantum field and where all information lives. And so it can be easily accessed if you know how. And I know how. So this is one of my gifts, is being able to measure these frequencies without knowing anything about you and never speaking to you. I just need, your name is helpful for the report, but it's not part of the equation, like it's not part of numerology or anything. I'm just tapping into your energy field. And so the most common response that I get from people who've done this is that you nailed it. I've even had people cry when they read the report, because it was the first time they really felt seen and understood. They finally understood what was going on. They didn't feel crazy anymore. So there's reasons why your life is in chaos, and why you're struggling and feeling challenged. So if you really want to get to the bottom of this stuff, get a report. And here's the link for those of you who want to know. And of course, all these links are posted below these videos once they're finished, and they're in the stream as well. So be sure to sign up for that if that's something that you're interested in knowing more about. So creative rings, we have now access to infinite possibilities. We've always known that there's an unlimited number of things that are possible, but we haven't known how to access them. And so if you've only got 3 rings, 5 rings, you're really limited on how much you can create, how fast, how big. And so the more of the energies we clear out of our energy field, which is what we come here every week to do, the more expanded your energy field is going to be, which means when you expand, you also expand upward into these rings. And so that's what gives you more access to more knowledge and information. So in the rings is also where our Akashic records are held. So this is all knowledge from the past into the future. There's no time and space in this quantum field. So this is how in the present moment we can access information from past lives. We can access information about the future. Now, I don't foretell the future, or I'm not a prophet or anything like that. And I do resist and refrain from going out into the future to tell people what's going on too much, because I know that it's a moving target, and there are unlimited possibilities. So while it might be this in this moment, a million things can change that outcome in the future. So I refrain from doing that personally, but you might be different. At any rate, so that's the some new news, new information about the creative rings, and this is going to help us break through to this new paradigm of consciousness where we are accountable for everything. We are accountable for everything we create. If that's new to you, if that consciousness, that new paradigm, if that paradigm is new to you, really understanding that and getting a good grip on that is going to completely change your future. Once you know you create all your stuff, then you can also uncreate it. You can do something differently. And you'll stop going outside for all your answers, all your information. And so here I give you a lot of answers and information, but I don't want people to become dependent on me for their answers, right? I might be able to help direct you so that you can access more of your own information, more of your own gifts, but I'm not your savior. And all of your answers are inward. And so if you still find yourself looking on the outside for a savior, for your answers, for love, even for love, like I won't feel loved until I find that man or woman or whoever to love and adore me, then we really need to make some adjustments about this new paradigm. So that's not to say we're just to be all be independent, self-loving love bugs, but the point is that once we know how to be accountable here and we learn how to self-generate love that happens right in our own hearts, then we magnetize and attract to us completely different people. We attract other people who are also full, who are also doing the same kind of work. And then when those two people magnetize, then the love becomes exponential. And that takes you to a whole nother level. But you don't come to the table half empty. You don't come to the table all needy and waiting for other people to fill you up. So does that make sense to everybody? Is that ringing true to you, or do you have any questions about this first point that I'm talking about the creative rings and creating infinite possibilities? So if you have a question, just post it and I'll answer your questions. The next new thing, so there was 3 things we're going to talk about today. The second new thing that I discovered while I was in Spain working with my mentor was some new information about the roots. So our roots, these are the roots that we send down from the bottoms of our feet. And I just was thinking, wow, the deeper we can go, the better it is. And that's not necessarily the case. So there is there's some adjustments we're going to make to the roots that go down from the bottoms of our feet. So one is that I've known this already, that the 1% energy, they root down about 3 miles down into the earth. And so I thought, wow, we need to go past that and not, connect to any of that 1% energy. But then I discovered from my mentor that the dark energy that's in the planet is very dense and very heavy. And so we wouldn't want to go down too deep into the earth. So if you think about a tree, and if you've ever watched the movie, The Fantastic Fungi or The Incredible Fungi, I forget the exact title of it, but it's an amazing documentary on Netflix about the incredible root system under the surface of our earth and how this intelligent communication layer connects throughout the whole planet, the mycelium, the fungus, and everything goes down into this root system to decay and then is rebirthed and transformed. So in this darkness, in this dark energy is where we create transformation. So when we go down into the earth with these roots, think of a tree and how far down that goes. That's about how far down our root system should go. But nonetheless, this communication layer still connects around the whole planet. All the whole root system is all over the planet, except I guess in the deserts where there's not much roots there. Um, so at any rate, this root system, we're not going to go down quite so far. Now, a tree will go down anywhere between 2 feet or 2 meters and sometimes 20 feet. I was reading, but then when you think about like big redwood trees, that's could be, I don't know, hundreds of feet. I don't. How tall is a redwood tree? Anyway, I'm more visual. So when I think of a big tree like that, and that's how far down the roots can go. So that's what we're going to connect with the root system from now on. Is we're going to imagine the roots of a tree, and so as above, so below. And so that's how we're going to connect with the roots from our feet from now on, so that we can be a little more aligned with our natural the natural frequencies on the planet, which is where abundance lies, right? The trees, they never have to worry about having enough leaves, or unless they're diseased or they're sick. So and the birds, they don't worry about where their next worm is. So that's all part of nature. We are made of the same stuff. So we are abundant by our innate nature. We are naturally abundant. All right, great. So I'm glad you agree, Bess. All right. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about before we do our MediClearing is our intentions. And so in the past, we were taught to get very specific with our intentions, and we're to make this X amount of money we wanted to make. And we wanted to find this guy who was 6'1" with blue eyes and ripped abs. And, so we would put like the box, we would create our intentions in a box. And so as soon as we create those kind of intentions, we immediately limit ourselves. And so we want our radar screen not to be, all contained and confined like, our little box. We want to be able to be open to these infinite number of possibilities and rings. I don't know how many you have. Everybody has a different amount of rings, but now that we have more access to more rings, we want our intentions to also be open to infinite possibilities. So our radar screen expands. And so if we had the parameters here, but then we're missing all the stuff out here. So we're going to, when we place intentions, it's always going to end with and more or better or and always in our highest and best interests, because sometimes we think we know what's best for us, but we really don't. And then that thing that we really desired doesn't happen, and then later down the road we understand why it didn't happen that way, and then we're like thankful, oh my goodness, thank goodness that didn't happen that way. So can we do both, be open and still create our box? Well, as soon as you create a box, you create a limit. So if you want to, they're kind of opposing. So the idea is to create intentions that are more open-ended, that have more possibilities. Because maybe you've done this before, where you maybe sort of create an intention, and then things happen, but it's way better than you were imagining, than you ever even were thinking was even possible. And so we want these intentions to be more open-ended. And so when you place an intention, notice if it is in a box. If you want to be in a box, then you don't want unlimited possibilities. So either or. So just saying. So hopefully that's clear. All right. So any other questions before we move on to what we're talking about today? And we're going to do a MediClearing. We're going to clear the energies of lack, sacrifice, and control, which are part of every single uh, challenge or struggle that you face, one or all of those energies are generally involved. So we're going to clear those today as well as um, as getting just clear in our energy field and elevating our frequencies. So I struggle with this. Thank you, Andrea. It's clear. Great, great, great. Yes. So I probably speaking to the choir, but I did want to elaborate a little bit more about what we're talking about because we've started the 18-day MediClearing process, and we don't explain a bunch of stuff in there. We just go in and we get the stuff done every single day, and so we answer questions in the private group. But I thought I would just elaborate on it more than, typing in some things. So hopefully it's all clear. And welcome, England. We were just there. I was just there. Great place. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started with our clearing for today. And we're going to measure the energy of lack, which is at about 50%. So if we're in the energy of lack, then there's never enough. There's never enough money, time, love, support, rich resources. There's just not enough. So we're going to clear that. And we're going to clear the energy of sacrifice. 95%. Well, I'm glad we're clearing that. So when we are in this energy of sacrifice, it feels like we can't have it all. We have to have either or. This is really old programming. When we were a little kid, we had to make a choice. We couldn't have both things. You have to pick. And so often we sacrifice ourselves, our time, our energies, our health, etc. And it's often to help other people or for other things. Could be for our job or whatever. But so we're focusing inward. We're taking care of ourselves today. So you can reflect on all of this over the weekend. So we're going to clear the energy of sacrifice, and then the energy of control, also very high at 95%. So the truth is you control nothing. Maybe you haven't discovered that yet. And but when we grow up, I grew up in a very dysfunctional family, and I was very much a control freak. And because that's how we think we're going to feel safe in the world. We didn't feel safe growing up, so we want to create a safe environment. So we try to control everything, and this gives us the illusion that we're safe. That's not where safety lies. Safety lies on being inward, grounded, and really relying and having a great connection with pure source, so that we know we're always taken care of. We always have support. And as long as we're connected, we can hear which direction to go, how far, how fast, with someone, without someone. And so we have to be present to be able to do that. So let's also measure how much you're in your bodies right now. 15%. So that my guess is that there's either a lot of fear or a lot of anger. Feared. 95% fear, anger, 50% fear. So a lot of fears about the future, the unknown, a lot of things going on that make it really nerve-wracking, right? So with all of these energies in our energy field, we're not home to receive our information, our answers. This is why you're all confused, going outside. Where? What do I do? Help, Mr. Wizard. So today we're coming home. We're going to come home. We're going to get in our bodies. We're going to release all this fear and anger and sacrifice, control energies, so you can really enjoy your weekend connecting with nature. I suggest getting out in nature, connecting with nature, who's always in present time, never worried about the future. All right, let's get going. We're going to imagine a big fat grounding cord from the base of your spine all the way to the center of the planet. We're going to set that on release, because that's where all the garbage is going. All the garbage that's not yours, you think is yours, but it's not. Okay, Okay, great. Let's send those roots down from our feet and imagine a tree go down that far. And we're going to intermingle with the whole root system that does wrap around the entire planet. Even below the surface of the water, there are plants that have roots. Okay, good. So we're bringing this abundant feminine earth energy up through the feet, ankles, calves, knees, up through the thighs, the energy of the feminine and abundance. Let's check if there's a worry circle. Yes, out to that third layer where it doesn't feel safe to step into your power, to step into your gifts. I'm glad you're here today, June, if this is what you need. Yes, all of you need this. That's why you're here. Even those of you who are listening to this in the future, because it still works. Recordings are still 95% effective because I measured. All right, great. So the fourth and final part to getting ultra grounded, which is not in my book, Access Your Ultimate Power, the Blueprint to Infinite Intelligence, we're going to ground your hearts. Hearts are 100% open, but not grounded. So we're just going to start bringing this heart energy. We're going to back up for a minute. There's a reason it's not grounded. So hold on just a moment. We are going to go down to the root chakra, out to the third layer. This is where you're holding the energy that says it's not safe to ground your heart. So, control being, let's imagine a black flame right at your root chakra. For those of you who are new, just try some new things here. This is where you learn how to master your energy. You're not coming here just to get a clearing. You're learning how to do this on your own. So this is where you come and practice. And if you want even more help, there's always that available. And it always starts with a vibrational altitude report. All right, great. Okay, let's see if we can ground the heart now. There, now we can ground the heart. See how that works? Okay, great. Now the heart is grounded. So now, even if you don't know how many rings you have, we're going to start bringing pure source down through our creative rings so it can recalibrate our dreams, our desires, our intentions. And as we're thinking about these intentions, it's more powerful when you can think of and hold in mind the end result of how you want to feel when you get this thing, or you experience this experience, or you do this thing that you would like to do. All of those intentions, hold in mind the end result of how you want to feel. So bringing pure source down through these intentions with infinite possibilities, bringing pure source into the crown where it's blocked right at the crown. So we're going to go out into this permission circle, out to the 15th layer, where this 1% energy does not want you to be sovereign. This is why they use all of these, they do all these things to try and keep you contained in this free range slavery energy and being afraid, etc. So we're going to use a black flame right at the top of our crown, and you're going to turn up that flame. Kuya na e mai tupu koye. A payata tu mo oya ma kea na dia. We're just going to transmute this attachment of this control being so you can become more sovereign. You can be the boss of you. As we're bringing this pure source into the crown, into that sixth chakra behind your forehead, it's stopping right there. So it's getting stuck on some beliefs out to that third layer. So these are beliefs around how powerful you are. There's another control being right there. So use a black flame right in the center of your head. And so this is how we work with the quantum field, is with our imagination. Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So as we're bringing pure source down through that sixth chakra, into the throat, into the heart, where it's stopping again, we're going to go out to the 15th layer, more of that 1% energy, more control beings. So let's use a black flame right in the center of our heart, and just trust that this flame knows how far out into your energy field to go to transmute these energies. Okay, great. As we're just pulling all of these energies into the core and dropping it down. Actually, the 1% goes up. Let's send it up through the central core. And the reason we do that is because this is how they come into our crown, and then they kind of spread out. So we're going to send them up. Okay. So as pure source is coming down through the crown, 6, 5, 4, there's some energy still there. The watcher energy. So this is a fairly new energy. So we're going to imagine a rainbow flame right at our heart. And this is an energy that wants to keep this layer of oneness in the 40th layer from expanding. So this is what's happening on the planet, is people are realizing how connected we are, that we are all one. It's not just a concept. So this layer wants to prevent this from expanding. Okay, great. So now as we're bringing pure source down through the heart, there we go, solar plexus, second chakra, where it's stopping, again out to the 15th layer. And this is where a lot of your fears are coming from. This 1% energy, they love it when you're afraid and when you're angry. This is what they feed on, these lower vibrating energies. So we're just going to pull these energies in. And fear, okay, so some of you lost your grounding cord. So I was just going to say, send down the grounding cord again. And so what happens is when you start to feel fear and you release it, it causes a contraction. Fear does that. It contracts us and often pulls up our grounding cord. So that's why some of these energies are very hard to do by yourself on your own. If you're a lone ranger, it gets really hard to do this stuff without help. So either come here every week for help and share it with your friends as a thank you for my free gift and offering. And if you want more, there's always more available, more personal help, more specific help to you. Okay, there we go. Okay. So as we're bringing pure source down through that second chakra, spilling down the root, notice if you're starting to feel a little calmer, a little less anxious, a little more present. I'm going to start mixing these two energies together. Pure source coming down the backside with the earth energy coming up through the legs. We're going to mix that and bring 50-50 mixture up the front through the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth crown rings. Through the aura. All right. 5, 10. We're going to pay special attention to the 15th layer of your aura. So we're going to start at the bottom. This is where that 1% energy hangs out. We're going to just lift this energy up and out through this field. And when it gets above our head, it's going to go into that central core. We're going to send it off planet. Okay, great. The 20th layer wants to get grounded as well. So we're going to start at the top. This is the innate warrior, most powerful part of our energy field. Has access to 360 senses and 360 degrees of awareness in every direction. And so my mentor talks a lot about spatial referencing. And so when we have access to these 360 degrees, then there's more points of reference that we have that we're connected to. All right, so let's clear the 30th layer. We're going to start at the bottom. This is where all that reptilian energy hangs out. So a lot around the solar plexus that wants to keep you afraid, that wants to keep you stuck, and I was going to say in fear. Being afraid and in fear is the same thing. Okay, great. 30. Then we're going to jump out to the 50th layer where the watchers hang out. Up through this layer. Okay, great. 50th. And then the 60th layer. I'm going to start at the bottom. This is also a newer layer recently discovered. You can go back through the YouTube channel and find the one about the emerald flame. So this is, we'll use an emerald flame in this layer. And this relates to old sexual trauma and past life ritual abuse, maybe even present ritual abuse, which is a repeat from past lives. So we're just clearing that layer. It relates to our divine feminine as well, this layer. But what tends to get stuck in here is this old trauma. 60. Okay, and so the rest of the aura is clear. Let's clear our circle of reciprocity. So we're going to start at the heart, and we're going to bring that bright, luminous, warm glow of energy up to that right shoulder, out that right arm, the right masculine, giving, implementing arm. And then we're going to bring it up the left receiving arm, the feminine side, where you're going to let go of control. And that's how you allow source to flow through you. And as a result, everything that's waiting for you, all the things that you're trying to manifest, all of these things are going to start flowing in when you keep this arm clear and open and flowing. Then you can start to receive all the amazing things that are waiting for you out there. But you're too busy trying to control and thinking you know best. Okay, coming down through the heart. Okay, let that stir in the heart so you can fill yourself up. So what we just did is we took all this self-generated love in our heart. We bring it out that right arm as we give out into the world. We're great givers. That's easy. But do you allow yourself to receive your own self-generated love and fill yourself up in the heart here? Let that stir, fill your heart. And when you do that, then you won't be needy, and you'll start loving yourself. You'll start appreciating how amazing you are, all your gifts. You'll stop berating yourself. Okay, and then this circle is going to simultaneously go through your throat, so you can ask for what you need. And say what's working, what's not. Set really clear boundaries. through the sixth chakra, clearing those limiting and lack mindsets through the crown. There we go. So you can give yourself permission to have and receive all of this goodness. You're the boss of you. You create your reality. And then through all the rings. Okay, excellent. Let's measure the energy of lack, sacrifice, and control now. The energy of lack is down to 15%, but we want it to be 0, because this is where all these things start. At just a little bit, you don't even notice it. 15% is not enough to notice, but it's enough to start building on. And then before you know it, you're way in the ditch. All right, so the energy of lack, so I'm going to go down to the root, out to the third layer. There is a control being trying to keep you in this energy of lack and not enough. There's not enough of, you hear this everywhere in all the propaganda that's happening. There's not enough water. There'll be soon not enough food. There's not enough love. There's not enough support. There's not enough time. There's not enough whatever. Fill in the blank. Okay, good. So we're just going to use this black flame, transmute this control being. Whew. Okay, good. Okay, control is now at 0. Let's check the energy of sacrifice. Also down to 15%, but we want all the way to 0. We're also going to go to the root, out to that third layer, and pull in any energy that says you can't have everything you desire. You have to make sacrifices. You have to give things up. That's a lack mindset. Okay, great. And this energy of sacrifice was really made to be, especially if you're religious, like a good thing. You could be self-sacrificing. I grew up with that one. And the energy of the martyr. You know, Mother Teresa was, not to diss her, she did a lot of great things, but it's an old paradigm. And we don't need to operate out of suffering anymore. Suffering is optional. So we're letting go of a lot of old programs. Okay, sacrifice is now at 0. Let's see control, also at 15%, but we want it all. We want to clear it all. I'm going to go down to the root. So all 3 of these energies in the same place, but we got specific. That's why how we find new energies, as you get very specific. This is all the way out to the 15th layer. So guess who wants to control everything? The 1%, right? This is their energy. Okay, let's pull that in. There is a control being there, and it's in the 3rd layer right at the root. Use a black flame. Let's transmute this stuff. Kuya na amaye tia kaye poponu ye ama aye. Okay, great. The energy of control is now at 0. Let's also measure these other 2 energies that were very high. Fear was very high. So we've also brought that down to 15%, but let's clear all of it. We're going to go to the root, out to the 3rd layer, same place. So you can see how a lot of things can live in the same place. And you might think you cleared it because you cleared something. But when we can get more specific, you're going to get better results. Okay, good. Just dropping all that fear of the unknown and the future. And when we're in the present, it doesn't matter what's going to happen in the future, because we don't live in the future. We live in the present. And as long as we're out in the future, you can't create your future. The only place you can create any potential changes for the future is in the present moment. So let's make sure you're in the present, and you're not. You're still way out in the future. So the way I determine that is I put you or a person or whoever in front, and this side is actually, this is the past. Okay, sorry, I take that back. This is the future. So you've got into the present there, but you're holding a lot of stuff from the past. That's keeping you anchored in the past. So let's pull all of this stuff from the past, all the coulda, woulda, shouldas. Like, just drop a guillotine and forget about all that shit. You can't do anything about it now. Let's be present so you can create changes for the future. If you're still holding regrets and that thing that somebody did, and that thing you should have done but you didn't, and you're just forget about it. Just let it go and be present so you can be present. All right. And you can be fully in your body. There you go. See that difference? See how much lighter that feels? Even I can breathe easier now. Okay. And then the last thing I want to measure is, well, we'll measure a couple things. The energy of anger, that was at 50%. It is now at 0. Great job. Let's also measure the energy of joy. That's at 100%. The energy of unconditional love for yourself, 50%. Come on, guys, let's bring that one up too. That's all the coulda, woulda, shoulda is, all the judgments, all the ways you're making yourself wrong. Let's go to the heart, out to that third layer. These are not your judgments, by the way. Okay. There's somebody corded to your heart and making you feel bad. It could be a partner, it could be parents, it could be children, friends, anybody. It could be anybody. But you'll know who yours is in your case. Let's use, now normally we'd use a violet flame, but it's saying to use a black flame because they have really not very good reasons for connecting to your heart. They want to make you feel bad. They want you to make you feel judged. And so let's use a black flame to transmute these attachments in your heart, these people making you feel bad, not even your energy. Okay, use that black flame. I'm not doing the work, you're doing your work. Okay, good. Keep going. Oya na paya kaya niti omo koya. Iya na titia mapapea pukoyo. Okay, great. Now, let's see how much unconditional love you have for yourself. 100%. You feel the difference? And that wasn't even your energy. And here, all this time, you've been beating yourself up thinking it's you, and it's not even you. Boy, that feels better. Okay, great. Yes, feel so centered. Thank you for saying so, Bess. Yes, all this garbage is not even us. And then let's check the energy of amusement. I think this is a great tool. And, we're not laughing at people or people's bad situations, but rise above. We got to rise above all this garbage that's happening on the planet and find some humor in it. And that'll help keep us in a higher vibration. So amusement is at 50%. So we're going to drop some serious energy right now. We're going to go to the root chakra, out to that third layer. Find that serious energy where everybody wants you to think, this is serious stuff. Don't be laughing. It's not a time to have fun. And well, if you want to be in that camp, fine, go join them. I'm in a different camp. It's the camp of amusement and joy, and I'm having a great time in my life, and I love my life. And you can too. You don't have to feel guilty about enjoying life. We're meant to enjoy life. Okay, I said it. All right, great. Drop all that serious stuff. There we go. Yes. Say yes to life. All right, great. So amusement, 100%. Okay, great. So now you can go scratch your funny bone, tickle your funny bone. All right. Yes, 100% amusement. Isn't that great? We can laugh at so many things. All right. Well, I hope you guys go out and enjoy your weekend and be in present time. Get out in nature. And for those of you who want to go further, farther, faster with a little extra help, get a vibrational altitude report, find out where you are. You know, in this report, it comes with a 30-minute chat with me where we can either discover if you were able to use your own gifts to clear your own stuff, and if you were successful, how much you were able to clear on your own and what's left. So that could be invaluable to a lot of you people who are healers out there. You just need a second set of eyes. So that would be a great thing. And if you don't know how to do any of this stuff, then certainly get some help. The most successful people have mentors. All right. Yes. Listen, Selma, what do we got? How do we stop attracting narcissistic partners? I understand it's the pattern and we need to keep doing the work and peeling more layers. And I was wondering if there is something else. Well, also remember that the people we attract into our life are showing us our own deeper patterns that are really hard to look at. And if you might say, oh, I'm not like that, there's no way. Well, maybe look a little deeper and maybe you're just a little bit like that. And so the more that we can start looking at these things that are really hard to look at, the deeper we can go and let go of this stuff. And so there's a match. That's why we keep attracting these things. So you're so welcome, Tammy. And I hope you guys are all feeling lighter, more joyful, more inspired. Have a great weekend, everybody. And we'll see those who are in the 18-day. We'll see you tonight, going deeper, farther, faster. And otherwise, we'll see you all next week. Sending much love. Namaste.